Alright guys, we're absolutely delighted to welcome 2016 Masters champion Danny Willett to the YouTube channel. So how's your snooker? Break off and let's have a look.
It's average.
Right.
I enjoy it, but
That's not bad at all. That's not a bad strike.
It's
I can tell you can.
Obviously, being British, when the weather's not very good.
Yeah.
Usually there's a snooker table at the golf clubs.
Because you've been to the Crucible a couple of times, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean it's an awesome place. It's an awesome week to go see the lads. Well, often the lads are playing golf at Rotherham that week anyway in the morning.
Yeah, that's where.
I'll get my gloves on.
I tell you what, I just got beat 4-0 in the qualifier. That didn't happen. I'm telling you, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't practice. But we play at Thryber. That was your club, wasn't it? Was it growing up? Is that your golf club?
I've been there for 21 years.
Yeah, so, me and
you boys always had the first tee time at 7 o'clock or whatever, so you could play a few holes and then get yourselves back.
It's great. Well, so we go every time. There's 3 mornings where there's no snooker at the Crucible. So we go out and, as you say, we get the first tee time. Me, JP, Parrot, Virgo. Who
wins?
Ken's just a bandit.
Ken plays all the time though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he actually goes up there to practice. I'm going to play safe here. I can't be bothered to get the spider out. Yeah, Ken goes up there to practice, but he. You
must have some respect for my average snooker game.
Well, I just like a bit of long grass.
Perfect.
So did you ever go to the Crucible like when you were young, or was that the first time you'd been?
Yeah, so I got obviously when I started playing snooker with the lads and actually enjoying it. It's hard to go and see people at the top of the profession. I love sport. Every sport I love.
Yeah.
So when you get the chance to go and see the best players in the world at whatever they do, whether that be badminton, table tennis, whatever.
Yeah.
And Sheffield being it's effectively the biggest one of the year for the guys.
Yeah.
For it to be 25 minutes down the road, I was like, well, unbelievable. So Ivan sorted me out at World Snooker, and ever since then we've had a good relationship.
Was it the final? Was it the final or something?
I've been to a few. I went to. What have I been to? I think I've been to 2 finals and a couple. I like going when it's one table, because I get lucky and I go and I get to sit. He often puts me in the press box.
Yeah.
So when it's 2 tables, it's really hard to see everything. But when it gets down to 1, then obviously it's brilliant. And again, it's an amazing place.
Yeah. Do you watch on TV as well, or is it? Because you live in America, though. Do you get snooker over there?
Yeah, you can always find it. Again, you get your BBC iPlayer, whatever it may be, and you can always find it on. Timings don't work out great, but no, my missus, I watch literally every sport that's on.
Right.
So like, it's like if the TV's on, there's sport on, and she's like, well, you don't even play it, you know. No, but I like seeing how people do their sport and what they do, and I just like to see what guys do. I've been lucky enough to be on the practice tables there with a couple of lads as well.
Right.
And again, same as golf, you then see a different standard of table.
Yeah.
Compared to what I would be used to I play with the lads.
Yeah.
And the same as when guys play at the local golf club potentially, and then they go to an Open or a US Open or Augusta or somewhere, and they're like, well, this is different. And it's just, so for me, it was like similar, because you play on that and it's rapid and it's your pockets feel smaller than the ball.
That's right, yeah.
So I just wanted to, again, it's one of them, fortunate enough to be able to experience doing all of that and seeing the guys and being in the players' lounge and chatting to them, and when they've just won a match or whatever, and they come in and they'll have a drink, and just a really cool environment to be at the Crucible. Like I said, and being so close to home, I mean, it's mint. Yeah,
because whenever I've been to golf events, I always prefer just to be on the range, watching you guys hit balls rather than out in the course, because you see obviously what you're working on, and you just go through the clubs and just see the contact and everything. It's great.
I guess it'd be same like in the Crucible back room, because again the lads come in the jeans just for the you're being there, and Mark Williams will pitch up if he's playing later on that night, but he'll pitch up and he'll have an hour in there or whatever you're allowed and stuff. And like you say, to actually watch them, they'll often have a friend or a coach setting the balls up. And it's just interesting to see, how do you get better? They obviously don't just play snooker.
Yeah.
Same as us. To get better, we don't just play golf.
Yeah.
You need to go practice your putting, your chipping, your driving, all the bits. And again, it's just interesting to then see, how they would go about like a practice session.
Right.
Because, I mean, again, to get any good at it.
Oh. See, that would probably be in a normal table.
Yeah.
This is a table that Ronnie O'Sullivan beat Graeme Dott on. in the final of the World Championship. So it is tournament.
It's a lovely
tournament
table.
size pockets, yeah. So I started playing snooker at 12. What age did you start playing golf?
I was similar.
12.
Yeah, so like we were, I'd played. Like I'd been to the 9-holer in the range with my dad and my brothers.
Yeah.
But not really actually like took your own bag of balls and actually practice yourself and set your own bits up. Same as you, like you might have played a little bit, but then you're actually then going to go with your bits.
Yeah.
With your own balls, I assume, with your cues, and then set your own drills up.
Yeah.
That's kind of when I really started to practice was probably 12, 13. Right, okay. When you start to go, you know what, I like this, I'm pretty good at it. Right, now I need to actually practice. Was your dad good
as well? Or your
No.
Same as my dad. No, but my dad couldn't put 2 balls in a row at snooker.
No, my dad was off like 18, 20. The only reason I really enjoyed it is because my 2 older brothers are bigger than me, played football, they smash all over, but golf, so they did completely different sport. You just play your game and, I ended up beating them, and then you go, well, this is a lot more fun when you can actually beat your brothers at something.
Yeah.
So then
exactly the same, yeah.
And then I was like, well, actually, and then it's a bit of a lonely sport as well, as they assume this is.
Yeah.
But then that's also the beauty of it, because you don't need someone who's at your standard to necessarily play against. When the first few years of practicing, you just take your practice bag and you get your headphones on or you do whatever, and you just go practice. You get into your own little zone, and then all of a sudden 4 hours have gone by and it's dark and you've got to walk back home.
How long would you spend practicing now?
Obviously it differs now.
Family and
family, 2 kids and stuff. It differs. I'll probably have a couple of days off a week after a tournament and then get back into it. Nice. It varies. Depends how I feel like I'm playing. Yeah. How many times I've played, but 4 or 5 hours is a pretty easy day.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, again, I'm chucking in there maybe 9 holes, which is 2 hours.
I was going to say that. Do you actually play in the course or?
So you try and mix it up. Right. So I assume if you had someone here who was good standard, you'd be like, right, I've had my practice, I feel pretty good. All right, well let's have a few frames and play. Yeah. It's the same as I'd be like that. 2 or 3 hours. How do you feel? Yeah, all right. If you want to work on something else, you carry on. If not, you know what? I might go and play. Rotherham were brilliant for that because I go and play triangle in the middle, 3 holes. Yes. Or I go and play the back 6, or you play the back 9, or... By the way, you lost 4-0, did you, the other day?
I know.
Saving it for me.
Taking it out on you.
So it's and that's the beauty that I found with golf is that, like I said, you just get into your own little world, and just that's it. Yeah. Hours go by, and you see yourself getting better. And
I think when you see yourself getting better, that's when you enjoy it, right?
And the beauty of when you first start it is that you see them jumps like pretty quick. Yeah. Like now, for us to see a massive gain, I mean, it'd take years.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's like I'm working on something. Well, you might be working on that for 3, 4, 5 months. Right. Whereas when you was a kid, you're working it for a week and you've already changed something because you didn't know any different before. Yeah. So that was the beauty, I think, of being young and doing it. Is kind of how much better you could get in such a short space of time.
Shot. You always hit that too.
That one there.
You always hit that too well.
It's all right.
That's all right. The Browns.
So yeah, it's.
So would you, in terms of coaches, how many coaches have you had in your career? Because I've had I think 4, and I think in the beginning my first coach helped me a bit in terms of longer, but after that I don't know whether they did me any good or not. Yeah, so I've had Peter Ball was my very first early when I was like 12. Yeah. Then I would have had Graeme through, Peter, Mike, Foles, Liam, probably 6-ish. Yeah. But again, I'm talking 20. Right. 22, 23 years now. Right. Okay. I know obviously some lads. Rory's had the same coach now for years and years. I used to have a coach that used to travel everywhere, and if I'd be in the practice table, I wouldn't be missing a ball. And he would say to me, well, why am I here? I says, well, if I'm playing well, you're not, sometimes they find they have to do something to justify being there. Is that? Yeah, you do find that at times. I think if you see someone too much, it's a bad thing. Yeah. Because again, the whole point in getting better is, you've read all the books about the 10,000 hour and all that stuff. Well, that's like self-practice. Yes. So like the best thing I always found was having like a good bit of time with them over,
I don't know, a few days or a week.
Yeah.
And then probably have a couple of weeks where you're then trying to get it in yourself and then playing.
Yes.
You know, because it's all good and well, like you're the same. You're on the practice table, I'll be on the range, don't miss a shot, on the golf course, slice it into the trees, you're like, where's that come from?
Yeah.
But it's then, I think it's at times, it's because you've maybe not practiced it enough on your own.
Right.
You know, so then for me it was like, right, do that, see the guys, ask them all the questions, and then then you then add your feels into it. Right. And I assume the feels in snooker are so refined in a bit of grip or a bit of or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be going. You'd be thinking about: is my backswing too long? Is my backswing too short? Am I gripping too tight? It's like so many, and you think it's people watching just think it's back forward.
But the problem is that the one I found with golf, or what I would say with golf, is that on the camera. So obviously you look at it on video and and they're videoing it and they go, oh, you know, the lines are good. This looks good. But you might be holding it and going, yeah, but something just doesn't. Right. I can't see it.
Yeah.
I almost can't explain it.
Yeah.
But something doesn't quite feel right. So then that's at times where then a coach is helpful just to. Yeah, because it's often they're there as like a little fire blanket, aren't they? You would have probably been the same.
Someone from the outside looking in.
Kind of thing. You know, he watches you, says, "We don't miss a ball."
Yeah.
And you're like, well, no, but if I did, you're at least you're here just in case.
Yes.
You know, and it's. It's a tricky one because I think that's a really hard thing to get right as a professional in any sport. Yeah. Is when is it too much? Yes. You know, when do you need a pat on the bum? When do you need arm around the shoulder? Yeah. You know, how does it all? How do you kind of go about it all?
So how many people? Because I've heard you in interviews after golf because I'm obsessed with golf. I'm with golf. But after a round, you'll always say we did this or we should have. So how many people's involved in like Team Danny to get you onto the course?
I mean, obviously, John sat in the corner as a manager's a vital part of it. Then there's your physios, your coaches, your caddy. I mean, it's amazing, family. You know what I mean? There's probably anywhere from.
And I suppose if there's a problem with one piece of that.
It's a tricky one. You know, one of the biggest things. I don't know if you would have found it or other sports people. I assume they do, but. You know, for me, when everything's going well off the golf course, you know, everyone's happy, everyone's healthy. Yeah. It's then a lot easier to then pack your bags and go away for a few weeks. Yeah. Sometimes you're not obviously, if people are unfortunate enough, they don't obviously get that. They just have to go because of you know something, monetary reasons or whatever. So yeah, it is often tricky when one little thing's out of kilter. A lot of times
you can't play top sport with anything in
here,
can you?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? You know, and snooker's the same. It's like a long game, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, especially the World Championship.
You know, when you guys are doing best of 31, 33, 35 over 3 days, it's a lot of time sat in a hotel as well, isn't it? Thinking that's whatever it is.
That's one of the reasons I said to Sean Murphy when he did this, I can't believe you're working for TV in between, because you've got to switch off. Yeah. And a long thing, you've got to be able to switch off. I suppose you got after your round, go back, switch, completely relax. You don't stay in the course and watch more golf, do you?
No. Although you would go back home and then you'd maybe look at your swings, but then you're analysing your own stuff, and it is. Sometimes you can kill yourself with over-analysing everything. Yeah. But yeah, you do need the time to switch off and to kind of recoup and recover. But it's again, we've got 5-hour rounds. Yeah. Prom on a Wednesday, then 4 days. You know, you've got time in between shots, but then you've still got a lot of time elsewhere. So if things aren't right or don't feel right, you've always got them little voices in the head, just having a little chirp up every now and again.
But that 4-0 defeat, I had about 15 voices in there, and they were all arguing,
all telling you different things. No, it's and that's why I enjoy. I just love watching professional sport and watching guys do it. Yeah. Because I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is to be really good at the sport. How much time you've got to put in to be good at it. So I think for me to watch other professionals do what they do, for me it's just a massive level of respect. I mean, this game I find impossible. Yeah. I love it. Me and lads will go and play and have a few pints, but I'm rubbish. But for me then to go and watch 147's being knocked in, you're like, how's that possible? I know. I can barely get 7. You know what I mean? Unless they're lined up. So then it'd be the same, I guess, like you say, when guys come watch us on the range and they're like, well, how does he ever shoot 75? Well, he hits it like this and does this, but it just...
Snooker, it's all about controlling that cue ball. Like the way you can... No, but you control the golf ball on the course, don't you? You're either doing right to left, left to right, spin, no spin.
Sometimes.
Same thing.
Sometimes.
Great shot. Oh, a little flick, you're on the black.
Oh, see, this is what's funny. You think that's on the black.
No, it's not great.
I will say today about there.
I will say it's not great, but it's but you're on it as I saw.
As a,
yeah.
It's the one that you can see.
So where's your game at the moment, golf-wise? Is it good?
I've had a couple of niggly injuries in my shoulder. I've had them for a few years, so it's been on and off.
So that's got to be, yeah.
It's yeah, and again that's just wear and tear. That's
really?
20 odd years of hitting balls, going in the gym, doing bits.
Right.
I'm getting older. I'm getting 35. It's travelling a lot.
19 years younger than me. Thank you very much. So tell me, as a golf watcher, I've never been to the Masters. How fast are them greens? I mean,
they're very fast.
Yeah.
But the thing that obviously makes them is the slopes.
Right.
So like we were saying before we got started, like when golf courses were designed years and years ago, up in Scotland or whatever, 200-year-old golf courses, the greens were designed just as they were because the greens were so slow.
Yeah.
So they could put pins everywhere, and you've got all these undulations, and as the generations have got better and the maintenance of course have got better, well now the reason there's so many redesigns on golf courses is because the greens that used to run at 7 now run at 12 or 13, and if you had them at the same stimp meter you'd not be able to put a pin anywhere. Yeah. So Augusta are clever is that they have huge slopes in them. Yeah. But then on each green there's usually 3, 4, 5 areas where they put the flags. Right. And then them slopes can help you. Yes. Or if you miss them areas, you're 60 foot away, 3 putting and all sorts. So it's just, I think the one thing whenever anyone ever goes there for the first time is just how hilly it is. Yes. From tee to green, and then on the greens, the undulations are massive. Yeah.
How many times did you play before you won it?
2015 was my first year.
Really? So you went second visit, you won it?
I went like 4 weeks before and played it to kind of get rid of the drive down Magnolia, goose bumpy. You still get them now, but try and get rid of the
the admiration of it.
The wow factor of it ish if you can. Yeah. And then played 2015 and finished like 20th, but really just loved the place. Yeah. Everything, I like shaping it round. I've got a good short game, a good putter, so I like the idea of it all. Everything's framed really well at Augusta. Yeah. And then obviously 2016 got fortunate in how it kind of ended, but obviously played well through the week. But
did you know what was going on with Spieth then when you were on the course or not?
No, because there's no electronic boards.
Right. Okay.
So very very rarely these days are there no electronic boards on a golf course.
Okay.
And that is one that's kept the tradition that it's just a massive manual done board.
So you were just concentrating on your own game.
We do his own things, and then they've got every about 4 holes they've got a huge board where they're obviously manually changing scores. Yeah. And then the only time we really knew what had happened is after 15 when they changed it. And again, you still don't know what. All you know is me. I was playing Westy, so all you know is what you and your partner are doing. Yeah. So at the time, we went from a few behind to actually being in first and second.
No. What was the wait like when you were in the clubhouse? What was that? How long did you have to wait?
40 minutes.
40 minutes. So
it's not crazy,
not
but
crazy, love, but still.
I'm then watching it, and you're like, right.
You're expecting them to do unbelievable things.
Well, because I'd obviously finished pretty strong. Yeah. Birdie 13, birdie 14, birdie 16. So the pin positions are gettable. Yeah. Augusta on a Sunday, they put the pins in places where you can make eagles on the par 5s.
They want the excitement.
You can have hole-in-ones on 16, as you see every year. So you know that something can happen down that stretch, and I was basically watching it and counting the holes as to where he makes birdie here, he gets within 2, he can eagle that, he can do this here. And then it was only until we were watching it he had to hold his second shot on 17, I think. Right. And then when that didn't go in, it was, that's when Smarty jumped on me, and I was trying to FaceTime Nick at the time, and it was, and then the next 4 hours of a massive blur when you're doing all the media and everything. And then it was a pretty good party that night. Ferguson were there. He wasn't happy with me because he'd had a bet on Spieth.
Oh God!
I said to him, that's your own problem. You should be supporting your British lads. Come on.
What was your menu the next year?
We did a Sunday dinner.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so we had a traditional Sunday dinner. It was nice.
If I won it, I'd have a haggis.
You see,
did Sandy Lyle have haggis?
I think Sandy might have, yeah.
Did he?
Well, so, I mean, I don't even know that. I haven't looked at the menus. That'd be a good one to look at, actually, because Wuzzy would have done something. Wuzzy could have potentially done something a bit funky as well, couldn't he?
Yeah. Because obviously you went through a quiet time after that. Then what was it like? I don't get. But so what was it? Did you just feel the pressure being Masters champion, or what was it?
It was a few
expectation, or
it was a few different things. It was a bit of a. We obviously practice every day to know how to play golf in front of a camera.
Yeah.
You know, and in front of people.
Uh-huh.
But I think no one really teaches you how to handle just the out and out craziness of what happened. I don't think I realised how big it was until I got home.
Yeah, I mean the Masters.
The magnitude of it, like, you know, you watch it and stuff, and again, you dream of being in that situation.
Do you think that's even bigger than, like, I mean, they say the Open's the biggest, like, but do you think the Masters, because of it's the same place every year?
Yeah, I think it's more because it's at Augusta, because it's got so much history with Augusta. I would put an Open up, like, obviously, right up there with it. Lovely. For example, an Open at St Andrews, I imagine is like out of this world. Right. You know, Jack always said, you know, until you win an Open at St Andrews, it's the
right.
So it was just a whole different level of.
But like, did you take your eye off the ball a little bit in terms of you didn't work as hard, or didn't?
No,
like,
I was working.
I'm fascinated by.
No,
like,
I was working just
how
as hard, but I'd picked up a couple of niggly injuries.
Right.
So I wasn't moving as good.
Right.
We just had Zach. You know, so at the same time, I wanted to be at home and see the kids.
Huge life change.
And then, you know, one of the biggest things I think, looking back in hindsight, is back then the schedules on the tours were quite different, and we were getting offered to go play Hong Kong, go play in China, go play here, and you know, at the time you're like, well, you know, someone wants you to go and do an exhibition somewhere. You're like, well, perfect, I'll go do that. Yeah. But then you get to the end of the year, and you tied it up. I mean, you've been on an aeroplane for nearly a month, and you've done this, and I was completely burnt out at the end of 16, mentally, physically. Yeah. I'd gone from having 2 great years on the European tour, but being beat, finishing second both years, to Rory and Hendry, and I just things just weren't quite clicking, and then got injured, had a bit of time off, and then it just kind of spiraled down, because then you're injured, but you want to play. Yeah. So I probably came back from a couple of injuries too early. Tried pushing it. Niggled something else, or didn't move in the same way, hits your confidence a bit, and then just everything kind of then spiraled into like just not really enjoying it as much. Right. And which is ridiculous, because
from the highest point in your career to
so we were, I mean, it was quite literally the highest and the lowest within 3 years. Wow. And again, you learn from it in the hope that you'll get the chance to do things differently next time. Yeah. But I don't know. It's funny because I'd still take 3 years of rubbish
to be Master Champion.
To win it again.
Absolutely. I think that's a no-brainer.
So I put myself through hell, but I'd happily do it again if someone gave me the chance.
Of course, the reason you're here is obviously Wentworth this week, a place that you was it 2 years ago you won there?
Can't remember, 2020 or 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you obviously like that place.
I've always loved it here.
Yeah.
The crowds are always amazing. Golf course is beautiful. Just a great week. Really is a great week.
Oh,
what's he doing here?
I don't think they've got a spider in here, so you better.
It's all right. And I'm not very big either.
You get the rest.
Have we got the rest?
Yeah. There's rest, but I don't think there's a spider though.
All 5'11" of them struggles to reach over these tables. Yeah, so it's. I mean, this week's amazing. Again, it's been nice to actually.
Shut. Although you're not in position. See that's what people find the difficult thing about snooker. You pot the ball, but there's a cue ball for the next shot.
See, that's the problem, is that I'm not very good. No, I'm all right. I'm not going to pot anything anyway, am I?
Come on.
Like, it's funny because the places that I've won in my career are all places that I really enjoy the week.
Right.
And again, I don't know if you were the same with snooker. Just the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
So win up in the mountains in Crons.
Yeah.
You know, it's just an amazing place. Beautiful atmosphere. A beautiful place. Win in South Africa. You know, we all were on safari and having a nice week. Yeah. You win here, you've got 50 friends and family coming down to watch. Right. So I think for me, that's a big part of it. Okay. Like I was saying before, is if everything's good off the golf course, well, it's always nice when your friends and family around. You're all going out for dinner and whatever. So I think that really helps. And then the crowds obviously down here, every time an Englishman gets in contention here, everyone loves it.
What are the supports in crowd? Because, I thought that was in. Yeah, I've played the Pro-Am 3 times, and that's 40,000 for the Pro-Am.
Oh, it's phenomenal. I mean, it's dangerous for the spectators, bless them, but it really is the whole week. This is now, it's always been the flagship event, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. This week, unbelievable field. Obviously, all the Ryder Cup lads are playing. Yeah. You know, it's just going to be a great buzz about the place. Got a couple of Americans over playing as well. you know, and this is to be able to win around Wentworth. You know, obviously they've had so many tournaments here. It's just nice to have your name etched on the board in the clubhouse, and you know, your club's up there on the way into the dining room and stuff. It's a special place.
I don't know, how many tournaments would you play in a season, in a year?
24 to 28.
25. And so what percentage of the courses would, like, you say, this course suits me, or I hate this course, I can't play? Would you not go to the tournament if you didn't like the course?
So we're fortunate in, obviously, it's probably 42 events.
Right.
No one's, I think VJ probably played the most in one season.
That's quite a lot, 28, that's quite a lot though, isn't it?
Yeah, but genuinely, if you hated a golf course, there isn't any point in going.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, again, slightly different to snooker in that the tables are theoretically close enough to be in the same. They're not always, you obviously get different. Yeah. But then for you guys, I imagine it's then what's there.
I never liked playing in the Far Eastern because it was so hot and humid.
Yeah.
The air conditioner was on so much, the tables were so slow, and I never had a lot of cue power.
Right.
So I really suffered, and I didn't really do very
well. So it is similar. So then the outside atmosphere played an impact on what the table ran like. So I mean, some guys might say that for us. Yeah. Some guys might go, there's a tournament in Singapore, and they're like, well, it's going to be 40 degrees and 100% humidity.
Right.
I'm all right. I'm going to miss that.
Right.
Some of the bigger lads might do.
Right. Okay.
You know, and then someone might be like, well, I don't hit it very far. So I'm going to go and play these shorter fiddly golf courses.
Right.
I'm going to miss out these 8,000 yard golf. You know, and it's so like, you know, you can look at it like that, and I think that's a good way of doing it. And because we can actually, you know, we're effectively our own boss, we can pick and choose.
Oh, what a shot! What a shot!
Because we can obviously, don't you dare! Because we can obviously pick and choose.
I shouldn't be laughing.
Because we can pick and choose what we do.
What would constitute a course that you wouldn't like?
Wide open and long.
Okay.
Like,
where would you be in the sort of top bottom of length?
I'd be really, really middle.
Really?
Yeah, really middle. The lads these days.
What's that? 280, 290?
No, like 290-ish. Yeah.
And that's near the middle.
I mean, that'd probably be low side. The boys these days are ridiculous. You know, and it's just something you have got to play to your strengths.
Yeah.
So you know full well that the top boys in the world, doesn't matter what golf course it's on.
Yeah.
The game travels really well and whatever else.
Yeah.
Now, because the golf courses are changing so much, sometimes now I've just got to go, there's no point in going there.
Yeah.
Like, don't really like the place, golf course doesn't suit me.
Yeah.
Tell you what, why don't we put in this other one that I may not like, but the golf course might suit me a little better.
Right,
you know, because there's not many guys that play, that was terrible. There's not many guys that play less than 20.
Okay.
Tiger was obviously kind of started that trend back in the day when the world rankings came out and tried to play as little as possible. Basically tried to get as prepared as possible, play as little as possible.
Right.
But that's all right when you're winning 35-40% of the tournaments you're playing. You know, where a lot of us now, you basically play a numbers game.
Right, okay.
You know, there's so many points up for grabs each week that you're basically just hedging your bets on, you know, if I play 3 or 4 in a row, I've got a good chance of having a couple of good finishes.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how it goes. No. So yeah, it's, you know, within that, sometimes it would be quite nice for someone to actually just say, right, here you go, here's your 24 weeks. Yeah. You know, go get ready. Instead of you having to decide at times, but...
The live thing, have you ever had an offer?
No, we never really got into it too much. Because
that's a lot what they're saying, they're playing less.
And that was, you know, for a lot of the guys who went there who were 45 plus, that makes sense. Because, you know, the game is, you know, we do travel a lot. Yeah. We are away from home a lot. You know, we do play a lot of golf throughout a year. Yeah. So the idea to play less and to earn more money is never...
It's no brainer, isn't it?
It's not really, you know, if you're a businessman, it's not really a bad decision, is it? No, it's all right, I'm just going to...
Oh, you're going to play...
I'm going to try anyway.
I can't believe I wish I get this run of the ball when I was... Oh, look at this.
I'll come with you next tournament. I'll give you a bit of my energy. You'll be all right. Filled that pocket up too much, haven't you?
What bit of advice would you give it in terms of golf? I'm off. I've got 4.5.
I'm going to say you're a good golfer.
4.5, so pretty steady, but.
And that's round Sunningdale as well, though.
Yeah.
So that's a proper golf course as well. Yeah. That's.
But what's the single best advice you would give to a golfer?
I think for you, because you're actually, like I said, a good handicapper. it would just, you need to try and identify if there is, whatever the weakness is.
Well, it's my putting.
Right, well that's the easiest one to sort, isn't it? Because it's easy.
And it should
But
be
for
fine.
you, I was going to say, for you, putting I would have thought should be quite good.
The thing is, it's like a putting stroke has got to be the same principle as a snooker cue action.
Back and forth.
Yeah, don't decelerate through that, but it's,
But then, looking at that then, I haven't seen it, but the main thing there would then obviously be green reading.
Yeah.
So the easiest one for a green reading is, like, if you were, same as I guess I've seen the guys do it, obviously when you hit cue ball down the table, to make sure you strike it in the middle of the cue ball, you want to be able to obviously finish here, hit it up and down the cushion, and it obviously come back to the end of the cue.
Yeah.
So with the putting, I'd say if your ball's on this line, you put a ball 8 inches in front, you put 2 tight T-pegs either side, and you make sure that you can hit it through them T-pegs. Because if you can't hit it through them, you can't start it on line. Well, if you can't hit the middle of that ball, you're never going to pop the black here.
Right.
So you need to get that part right first. And then you'd start to do that then on like sloping puts, as to where then your eyes start to see. So this is why I find this game so tricky, is because putting left and right on it, knowing how much left-hand side you've got to put on it, not only to then get it back around the table, but then what that's then going to put, the spin that's going to impart on the black and how it's going to affect that is must be mental.
Well, especially over a long distance, because for snooker players, the most difficult thing is hitting the ball in the middle. But I don't know what this says message.
I told you I should have brought me gloves.
That was a pleasure. You played some good shots there. That was pretty good.